I'm Kyoku, but people in the West Coast call me Memory. I went on hiatus in December from YouTube to take care of some family matters, but when I got back, my fandom was more divided than before I left. The voice actor of Crow Bronwyn, Vic from RWBY, was fired from Rooster Teeth and Funimation on nothing but allegations. These claims came from Soul Eater voice actresses Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, as well as random Twitter accounts accusing him of homophobia, sexual misconduct, and pedophilia who call themselves KickVic. After losing a few friends to disagreements and witnessing the chaos dragging beloved RWBY YouTubers like Murder Birds into this mess, I returned to YouTube to defend my fellow content creators and stand with Vic. After a ton of support my most recent video got, I did a live stream with Hero Hei to discuss everything.
Welcome to the video, guys. I'm here with Memory.
Okay, what's up, everyone? Memory here. I haven't done this in a very long time, so forgive me if I do slow on the uptake. But anyway, it feels good to be back on YouTube.
Tell them about you. How did you get into the RWBY community, the Rooster Teeth community, all that jazz?
So how I started was Vine, if anyone still remembers Vine.
Oh, wow.
Vine was when RWBY was exposed to me, because everyone was flipping the fuck out when everyone saw Yang kill Tifa. People still hate that video today, because they're like, oh, that's bullshit, Tifa Lockhart should have won, she has more experience, you know, that sort of thing. But no one knew what RWBY was, so whether or not that was a Monty tribute or not, so that Screw Attack could start working with Rooster Teeth, it's up in the air, but whatever, it was just a video. I was interested because I wanted to know who Yang was, and then that's what brought me into the world of RWBY. And then as I started making like hilarious videos online, then I wanted to become a reactor once I discovered Freelancer. And then I wanted to become a reviewer because of you, Hero. So so then that's kind of what like brought me into the community. It was just
that was about a year ago, you'd say?
Yeah, a solid year ago, April 10th of last year. That's why I was on Twitter making all those posts of that video. Because that's the first time I actually got to talk with you guys and interact. That's when you discovered me.
So that's why I think this is going to be a cool stream, guys, because him and I both have history with RWBY, Rooster Teeth content, all that jazz. So that's why it's going to be fun to talk about how this is going to affect RWBY and Rooster Teeth maybe, and maybe some things that hopefully they can do to turn things for the positive. What do you think about the situation? Why did you not get involved right away? And then after you answered those, I want to ask you what made you want to get involved now.
The reason why I got into it in the first place was because as soon as any RWBY news shows up and it's something crazy, like I'm the first to jump in on it because, you know, RWBY, that's my fandom, that's my community. So I wanted to know more about it, and just like you and thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people are calling bullshit on this, because this is accusations at the end of the day. We still, we today, it's April 18th, still don't have a face of any of the women that have made these accusations. Just NPCs on Twitter talking about all this stuff that he's supposedly done, and
well, you're talking about specifically though, like the number that they always throw out, like, oh, it happened to 20 other women that will come. You're talking about like that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we have a
like
face
that.
for some of them. Like some of them are getting served like as we speak. So. I mean,
oh, so we have faces. We do have faces.
Yeah. I mean, Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi both came out with accusations.
Not them. I'm talking about like not the voice actors. I'm talking about actual people.
All
those people on Twitter.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, all those like that long stream of KickVic accounts that are saying.
Oh yeah.
He's done X, Y, and Z to me. All these stories and screenshots of like messages.
Yeah,
and it's just like
no, there's none of that.
Yeah, and Rooster Teeth believed it. So that's what I'm saying, like, that's what threw me off in the beginning, because every other year, you're always hearing about someone from Rooster Teeth either losing their job or just flat out leaving. And, you know, you've read Shane's letter, like, Muffin Man Dan always jumps in on this. Like, you see it in some of his videos if you've ever watched them before.
I've seen a few. Yeah, actually, I think his, I don't know, I forget which one it was. It was like 30 minutes long, kind of recently. That was pretty good. Just for the record, I do think, I want Rooster Teeth to turn this around, because I think they're a cool company. I want them to turn this around, and if they need to restructure somewhat, I don't know, whatever they need to do to turn it around, I hope they do. I don't want to see them go under.
None of us do, and we make content for them, you know. So
hopefully Rooster Teeth can turn this around, and
you gotta speak up. Like that's the like that should have been the first thing that they did. Like all we got was a text that was on their page, on their site. We didn't get like a detailed reason for why they let him go. I mean, they could have said anything.
Well, that kind of worked in their favor, though, because that fucked Funimation up. They gave too much details, and now, well, now they're literally getting sued today. So
yeah, because they're lying. Like you don't lie on like on a social platform and thinking that people like you and me won't pick up on the bullshit.
Oh yeah,
so, like,
that's for damn sure. What made you want to start talking about this now? Because you didn't for a while.
Well, to be quite honest with you, because I wouldn't lie to you, I didn't have a video editing software. Like I didn't have this kind of phone that you see here. Apparently.
Oh, from the thing that happened.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Remember how my phone got shattered by that guy? I didn't have a phone for like a few months, but I had to, rely on my folks. But I went and bought this new phone. Apparently, depending on the hardware, you can only I can't produce the video that you saw. That video that you saw, I could not make that video with a less, I guess you can say, up-to-date kind of phone. Like I bought one of those cheap, what is it? PCS, a Metro PCS phones. And it was like. Yeah, I thought I could just get away with it and spend $100 on a cheap phone to just do high quality videos. But then once I started, which was 4 weeks ago,
was a big no.
Yeah, I couldn't do any of the special effects that you saw. Like when I jumped out of that Pokeball and all that animation, I could not do that.
This guy is the craziest editing I've ever seen for a guy who uses a phone. I don't know how he does it. Like he literally does shit. You see people use like Sony Vegas shit or whatever, After Effects and all that, like on a computer, and he does that shit with his phone. I don't know. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. So the reason why you didn't talk about it was only because you didn't have editing software. Like you
I would have. I won't lie to you. If I had this kind of phone, once you started making these videos, I would have jumped on it too. Because, I mean, in the beginning, I was fighting with other RWBY YouTubers, and I don't even mind if I drop their names in here or if they see the stream. The story is, and this is from what Portal is telling me, and everyone here in the chat can quote me on this later. Portal told me that it was his friend and maybe a group in there, and she just happened to be in the area, didn't ask Vic for anything. Vic pulled her in and wanted to take a picture. That's it. That was the whole thing. But it's not sexual harassment, though.
That's not a crime. First of all, I'm skeptical of that whole thing. You don't need to agree with me, but I'm skeptical of that.
I'm skeptical of the whole story itself. But the thing is, he told me, and that was his reason for why he was disagreeing with me when I started making, I Stand With Vic posts, if that's what you want to call it. The thing is, I think a lot of people want to stand on the whole let's be honorable to women thing and, not, piss them off by saying, oh, I don't believe it because it's an accusation. Like, you don't want to keep giving, girls of this kind of thought process that kind of,
if a girl told you that if you jumped off a cliff, she would never have her period again, and she would be very thankful if you did that, would you?
No, of course not.
I don't know. Like, dude, just because she's...
So it first was Portal, and then right after that, I guess maybe a solid week afterwards, She Noob jumps on my videos and starts retweeting them, saying stuff. I forgot what the first one was, but I have tons of screenshots of everything that this girl said to me. She's a sailor, dude. She curses so much.
I was reading her profile too, just about stuff in general. Yeah, like she was cussing nonstop about like Game of Thrones or something. Don't fucking spoil me, fucking spoil, fuck. Like I'm like, holy shit. Like,
dude, I don't know what it is. And you know what makes this even painful for me to even be speaking about her is because I happen to be, cordial with Larissa, who's also a close friend of hers.
I will say too, Larissa, I've had no problems with, and I think she's pretty cool. I've never had a problem with her.
She's a sweetheart. One of the nicest people I've met in this community. And it just sucks that, like I have to be open about this. That She Noob is a jerk. Like she on Twitter, like she says very rude stuff. She cursed out. She called Vex Viewer, if you know who he is. Yeah. She called him a twat, and then she's telling me that I have a hollow heart and stuff because I apologize. The whole tweet was, and I quote, that I do not believe accusations from women. That's what the whole tweet was about. And she goes and says, "Oh, you're a Vic fanboy. Of course you would believe predators and stuff like that." Like I'll show you. I'll show you.
I've seen it. No, I've seen them all. Yeah, and I showed my stream from that one show, the tweets too, when you had them in the video, because I wanted to show them that. I don't know how many of those people are here, but hopefully some of them are.
Yeah, basically the whole conversations of her cursing out Vex Viewer, because it's okay to curse someone out just because they have differing views of a show that you like, right? It's okay to say a bunch of rude stuff to other people if they don't agree with you. That's the kind of biggest nonsense that no one likes to hear and will hate you for it. But she doesn't care. Her excuse is, oh, I'm just stating the obvious that I thought was totally clear to people.
And then, of course, if you do the same thing to her, she'll block you instantly, of course.
Exactly. It's hypocrisy, dude. And it's just like, I don't see anyone else doing that in the RWBY community. Hell, they can disagree with you, but I don't see anyone else other than Shinu spitting the kind of fire that she throws at people. It's rude, dude. Like, I still, to this day, have not cursed that girl out or called her a name.
And she even said to you, I never liked you or something like that, right?
That first thing got me.
So yeah, she said to you, yeah, that she never liked you. What was up with that? That was messed up.
Your guess is as good as mine. Every day before this Vic situation, she was friendly. Like, she would jump on my Twitch, and her and Larissa would raid me. Like, they were actually boosting my channel on on Twitch, and being nice and saying hi. I only had one conversation with the girl. And it was if she was going to be streaming Kingdom Hearts 3. That's when that was a new thing. And she was just, I wouldn't say she was completely negative, but it was just kind of like, I thought I told you before that I wasn't going to stream it. Well, we don't talk that much, so our last conversation, which was 200 streams ago, I totally forgot.
Did she say that after the Vic thing or before?
Before. Okay. This was before everything happened.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like we had a cordial relationship. That's pretty much the level of my relationship with everyone in the RWBY community. It's that you're a nice person, I can talk with you, you're someone that I can be chill with. Awesome, let's chat, let's collab, that sort of thing. Me and Freelance and Amber are a little closer because, we're we kind of do everything together.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, but
you guys collab a lot.
Yeah, so we're actually collabing in the next video. I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah. But every time when it comes to Shinu, she just has this chip on her shoulder that I just don't know, like, where it comes from. Like, where did this you hate memory or not being fond of me thing come from? I've been nothing but nice to you, and all my videos are positive. So you got a guy like me who's positive all the time in my videos, and then you got a guy like Vex Viewer who's not always positive, but gives fair points, whether they be negative or something you don't agree with. How is it two different kinds of people, almost polar opposites? You hate both of them and block both of them. Do you just not like anybody that's not a girl, or do you, or was there something I said?
It might be, to be honest, it might be.
Is it just me being a guy? Like, I don't have a vagina, so you can just disrespect me and it's okay? Like, I don't get it.
Allegedly, Monica Rial signed a jelly bean. Vic Mignogna walked by. He ate the jelly bean that Monica had signed. She gave it to him, and then he said, "Oh, I guess I ate Monica Rial," or something like that. Paraphrase. And she apparently made a complaint to Funimation about this, or Sony.
A jelly bean.
Part of one, that was part of the reasons why he got fired, was for that complaint. So it's total nonsense.
A goddamn jelly bean.
To say really quick is, when this story came out a few days ago, I literally thought it was a joke and a meme, so I didn't cover it. I intentionally didn't cover it on my channel because I thought it was literally a joke and a meme, because
That's what we're all fighting about?
Jelly Bean Day is April 22nd, so I thought some people just jumped the gun or were memeing it early. I literally thought it was a joke and a meme, but it's not. This actually happened apparently.
That is, oh, my brain is just non-processing it. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
What? Jelly bean? That's all that, just that one thing? That is borderline sensitive. Oh my gosh, I've never met. If that's how Monica is, I would not want to meet her in person. It's things like that. I'd be too afraid to be around people that sensitive.
No, I agree. That's some scary shit.
Oh my god, that's what this whole thing's about? Oh.
Well, part of it. So, where did we leave off? We left off, I think, with Larissa.
Yeah,
and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so the thing with Larissa, it's me trying to be respectful towards Larissa, because when Shinu was going up against Vex Viewer at the time, when they were having that argument, Larissa said that she was on the side. So I was worried that it was just wait a minute, does Larissa support this kind of behavior? So that's why I backed off away from Larissa for a little bit. But then she came to me and was like, am I okay or whatever?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, I was being passive-aggressive, saying, you have to keep your girl in check. And she was like, you don't have to be so passive-aggressive with me. So that's when I pulled back and I was like, you know what? Maybe Larissa's coming from an honest place. She doesn't actually support her friend's actions, but she wants everyone to be on a neutral level of understanding that this is who she is, this is who you are. So that's why, when I was speaking about the way I was about not freelancer, She Noob earlier, I was a little guilty because it was just like, I feel like I'm pissing off, if Larissa ever watches these, I feel like I'm disrespecting this girl's friend. And it's not really so much that when I'm just telling the truth. You can't be going on
facts.
Twitter.
I mean, we're literally just saying what's there. Like, you guys can find this all on Twitter. It's still there as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the facts.
You can't be going in your communities and cursing people out, especially not with the kind of following this girl has. I think she has like 20,000 followers. All these people supporting her reaction work, but I'm probably sure it does not support this kind of attitude that she displays over on Twitter. Like, this isn't the community that I support. This is not what I, condone. So,
and for the chat, because they don't know, but Memory is like the nicest dude too. Like, this guy, he's all about like bringing the RWBY community together.
Yeah, that's exactly all I ever wanted. When I made that top 10 video, that was like my first step of getting like everyone together. When you told me that you don't know all the RWBY YouTubers, it threw me off for a loop because I thought all of you guys were homies at first.
Yeah, no.
But,
yeah,
I thought Adel, AK, I thought all of you guys were all homies, and I was just jumping in, to say, hey, what's up, guys? But it threw me off when you said almost barely any of you talk, and I was like, oh god, this community needs some elbow grease. The thing is, with a lot of the people that are fans of RWBY, they're well-mannered people that just love cosplaying, some like shipping, and some just like the voice actors. And we all do this for one simple reason, to support Rooster Teeth. If we all have the same goal, why are we at each other's throats whenever a ship doesn't happen, or if someone dies, or when a VA gets fired? Like, why are we at each other's throats when that's happening? So that's what, you know what it is? Maybe it's that people they're not good at agreeing with someone that has a differing view. Like simple argument, Black Sun's better because they have more interaction. No, Bumblebee's better because they look cuter together. It's things like that. So when you have two differing opinions, and then you have two people arguing about it, people jump in on the mob and want to end up arguing. That's what happens when people don't agree. And that's when bigotry comes into play. So that's why it throws me off in this community where even the content creators, the people that make content for the show, are also in that mob of people that are arguing with each other. They can't find a balance. So that's why I get so thrown off and why I jumped in on this whole big thing, because no one needs to be acting like this, especially when you're representing a company that promotes people working together and making fan art and fan videos and content for a company that started out that way, making fan stuff off of Halo, off of someone else's IP.
Right.
So it was a simple thing where I wanted everyone to get together, and I didn't know what the fandom really was like until this situation happened. After today, I'm not going to expect anyone in the RWBY community that are content creators to all be homies. I'm not expecting that anymore. That's just not happening.
It might not happen.
Yeah, not anymore. Not after
Oh
today.
shit. Chat, his dream is dead. His dream is in the gutter. It's on the way to the ocean now.
Yeah, so that's what like I said in my video. The situation affected friends that were like close-knit until this sort of situation happens. Who would have thought that all it would take is for a man versus woman controversy to split like the whole fandom?
Yeah, I didn't unfollow anybody, any of those people.
No, fights just came out of nowhere on Twitter, and we just happened to jump in the middle of it. That's where I found myself. I had to be 100% positive that everyone was either A, on a side, or B, wanted nothing to do with the situation. That's basically the only two options you had. Zero to do with the situation, murder, or everyone's in on it now. Everybody else in the fandom. So that's where we are right now. And it's sad, because you want everyone to be tight, but how do we recover from this? Even once we find a guilty party. But I will say this: I jumped immediately on the I stand with Vic side because it was just a straight up, what did he do, and do you have proof of it? And since no one was giving out the proof, then I just started running into people that were just like, well, why don't you just believe the woman? So that's when it came into where I was like, what the heck is going on here? If I flat out just believe any person that I meet just cause, I can get set up for failure or trouble any day of the week.
Right.
So I just don't have that mindset. Like, whether woman or guy, like, I need something. And it throws me off too. Did Monica and them really think they would get away with this?
They did.
They really
They must
thought
have.
that?
I mean, they must have. Why else would they do this, right? If they didn't think they were gonna get away with it, they wouldn't have done it. There's no way they would have.
Off of just purely accusation. That's just people saying that, you know what, all I have is accusations, I don't have the proof for you, but you should just believe me straight up because it's a rape or a non-consensual situation that we're dealing with. That's what Noob told me. She straight up told me that this isn't a reasonable one, this is an emotional one. No, situations like this need to have facts behind them.
What the hell? She said you need to react to this emotionally? Basically?
Yes, I did not put every single, on my last video, my first video of the year, I did not put every single screenshot of what this girl said.
I wish you would have.
And I actually had a problem with that on like Twitter the other day with Laurel Lee, and Noob. So like, you know, everyone's posting like a GIF of their favorite film, and at first Noob was like, "Oh, I don't like that movie," and Laura Lee and I were both like, "Oh, we love Tim Burton. Like, we like him for this and this." And then she would just keep insisting that she just hates it. We're like, "All right." She was like, "It's a disgrace to cinema." I'm like, "Hey, you know, like, how about we try not to bash stuff? We could still like talk about stuff without insults." And she like went straight for the throat and like called me a snowflake. And all I asked was to have a bit of civility. But then she's like, "You're making a mountain out of a molehill," and then she blocked me.
Cause that girl that called murder a fat nerd, yeah, that girl, you remember that girl that called murder birds a fat nerd?
I thought it was a guy. I forget. I don't remember. It's some anime pig, right?
You know what's funny? This person straight up told me, well, didn't tell me, but told my followers that he's misgendering me because I didn't look at her. Because I didn't go to her bio and check to see if she was a guy or a girl or not. When you straight up have a name that says nameless person, what the fuck am I supposed to think?
Bro, the problem is it's actually in Twitter TOS that you can't get like suspended or banned for that. Well, it specifically says if you knowingly misgender someone. So if you don't, if you don't know, then yeah. But if you, according to Twitter, if you knowingly do that, you'll get banned though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I made a video and straight up thought it was just a dude. So that's how you know how much I didn't give a fuck about this person. Because anyone that calls my whole fandom faceless nobodies, and I guess you could say one of the pillars of the RWBY fandom, murder of birds, a fat nerd with internet access, you get no respect from me. Noob straight up disrespects anyone that does not agree with her. That's nonsense to me. Just because I don't agree with you, I have every right to call you a twat, call you heartless, call you an asshole if I'm done being an asshole. Dude, the list goes on with how much of a sailor this girl is. So that's what I'm saying, man. There's no reason for all this hate and volatile approach when you can just speak to me like a normal person. I even straight up told her follower.
I think a lot of it is self-hate, and they just take it out on people.
Maybe that's what it is. You know, and
it doesn't make sense why they're filled with so much angst and hate. Like, there must be something wrong.
You know what I really think it is? That girl that I told, that girl that called murder a fat nerd, I have a screenshot of it. Said that I'm a female. I live for drama. It's what I do.
Well, there you go. Some of them might be on that train too, then I guess.
That's the train of thought that we're dealing with right here with this whole Vic situation. They're just those girls that just think that drama is all their life is, all they live off of. That's not what it should be about. And if that is all you live for, you're just setting yourself up for a shitty life, a shitty, lonely life. And no one wants that. No one deserves that.
Yeah.
I feel it. You can have friends without the bullshit.
Like, where do you think the RWBY community goes from here?
The RWBY community. Well, for me, like, the RWBY community can only grow from here on out. I don't think that we're gonna stay this stagnant forever. No one in the first of all, and you guys are my witness. The RWBY community is not stupid. Almost like 80% of us are grown-ass adults, and the other half are people who are just getting into the community by just discovering RWBY. So all of us aren't dumb. We all know what we want. The issue is that no one can agree with each other because of all these reviews that, you know, like Eruption Bang or maybe Adel AK or, you know, some other people put out. We get past that, we're good. But
so the thing is, though, we don't need to agree with each other. People need to stop bitching about it when you don't.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, some people are, in terms of RWBY, like, oh yeah, the RWBY community is old. Yeah, some people already jumped shit, for sure.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of guys to this. Many shit posters. Oh, boy.
I mean, people were already leaving RWBY a bit as of, like, Volume 5, because people didn't really like Volume 5. Not, you know, I'm speaking in, like, broad terms. You know, I'm not saying for everybody. But the show definitely lost some people in Volume 5. it definitely lost some people when they took it off YouTube. It definitely lost some more in Volume 6 with Adam's death and the Bumblebee pushing, and just the rushed feel of the finale and like the latter episodes. And that's not even getting into the big stuff. So it already lost some people for all those reasons. On top of people just, you know, dropping it because they grow out of it or whatever, you know, just the normal reason people would. So on top of all that, and now you have the Vic stuff and all this shit coming out about RT and whatnot. So, and Memory, did you hear the news about Ezra Cooperstein, president of Rooster Teeth, stepping down?
Yeah, that's what we were going to talk about today as well. Like, we were going to talk about that. What is the deal with that? Because I won't lie to you, I never knew who he was until this happened as well. He was the president of Rooster Teeth?
For a little over a year. No, Bernie, what is Bernie again? Let's see.
He's a founder.
He's one of the founders, yeah, and I think he is...
But he's not... But he's not in charge of Rooster Teeth, period? Like, I thought Bernie was head guy. Okay.
Yeah, and they're owned by Fullscreen, so, I mean, then Fullscreen's their higher-ups, so, I don't know, it's this whole weird chain of command. So Ezra was working for Fullscreen for a while, and then he was I think he was president over on Fullscreen, if I recall, and then he hopped over to Rooster Teeth in January 2018, became president then, and now, a little over a year later, he's stepping down.
Wait.
Interesting timing, right?
Think it's because of all this nonsense that's going on? Because I think it's not far-fetched to think.
I think it ties in with the Vic stuff, and I think it ties in with just the Rooster Teeth not bringing as much revenue as before, and I think maybe he just wants to preserve his resume. Like, you know, while he was president, Rooster Teeth was still pretty good, but if he does think it's going downhill now and he can hop back over to Fullscreen or some other company, kind of makes sense.
Do you think, wait a minute, who was the one, like, Rooster Teeth said, like, that was what the message said. It said Rooster Teeth is ending all associations with Vic. Who was the one that finalized that? We don't know, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't know who was the one that said, okay, we don't want him working with us anymore.
Yeah, it was probably a group decision, I would imagine, like the board. Probably.
I guess.
That's probably how that was done.
So there wasn't no one guy that was like, okay, he's gotta go.
No, definitely not. Alright. Zypher Warrior has it down. It says Rooster Teeth and Crunchyroll are owned by AT&T now. I forgot about that. Wait, so Fullscreen. What's the chain of command again? Is Fullscreen owned by AT&T? Is that how it works? Let me look this up real quick.
Anymore, Rooster Teeth is owned by people. It's not a private company like everyone.
No, they got bought out a while ago. Yeah, they got bought out a while ago.
I'm sitting up here thinking that they're making all their content just for themselves. These people have been owned for quite some time. Interesting news. Yeah. These voice actors, you know what they think about Twitter? They think it's like their own private account so that they can just say whatever the fuck they want.
They do, and they'll use that argument too, but it's a non-argument.
They are representing a company. Even if you're on your break, no matter what you do, your characters that you play, what you represent is always the company, no matter where you go. Your fans don't look at you as
Amanda Winley.
They look at you as Yukiko Amagi from Persona 4. Stop cursing out your fans that are looking up to you and your work. You're making yourself look like a fucking fool. Oh my god. It's so bad. That is such a terrible excuse when they say the stuff they say on Twitter.
Yeah, it is.
That still hurts.
I mean, the only time the situation is different if their account is like literally private, and they only use it for like personal use, and that's a little bit different. But that's not the case for any of these people. It's all public accounts, and all of them pretty much also put in their bio. They put in their bio too, like, yeah, X position for X company. So when I called out Neebs about this in the video I made on Neebs, I even said, like, in your bio, you put, like, you're this for Funimation or whatever, and, like, you're repping that company. She, funnily enough, shortly after I made that video, she changed her bio and she blocked me. But she took that out of her bio. Like, she actually took my advice. She took out how she reps Funimation, and she put, like, my opinions are not those of my employer or some shit like that, so it's funny.
But even that's biased to even say that too, because again, if you go online, if people know your occupation, that's all you will be looked at for. No one that you make these tweets for knows you personally. So no, this is not your personal account. Your face is a representation of whatever company you work for. And that's what these VAs do not seem to understand. So that's why when you put them on the spot like that, of course they're gonna block you. They're fucking embarrassed. And they have right to be, because you're making yourself look out to be like this person that's doing justful things, when all you're doing is just cursing out the very people that sign your check.
Yeah,
so bad. Not so much as what they're doing to Vic, but what they're also doing to fans. They're not just attacking one man. They're attacking a global scale of anime fans, their whole community, and they have no shame for it. And then they want to cry wolf whenever they're getting all this bullshit thrown at them. That's your fault.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's so bad. We've been saying the same shit like 3 times, but that is the whole basis of this whole argument. The whole reason why this Stand with Vic nonsense started is because you guys, the whole community, is stupid enough to follow you. Chat, this is a question from Memory. Do you think that I'm, because this has been on the back of my mind for like, after I made the video that I made on my channel, do you think I'm betraying Rooster Teeth by making content like that? Just answer at your own discretion. Do you think I'm betraying the very people that my channel supports by standing with Vic?
You don't want me to answer that, or is it only for chat?
You can answer that. You can answer that. Do you think I'm betraying Rooster Teeth?
I mean, define betraying.
Betraying them as in where, as they're doing their jobs to, they're basically doing this to keep their jobs and keep them from going under. With this whole Stand with Vic thing, that's why they got rid of him in the first place. But by me making the content that I make, am I, like, by standing with Vic and saying that I want the best for him and for him to not, you know, go through what he's going through, am I betraying Rooster Teeth by standing with the person that they got rid of?
So I think the question, like, you need to ask yourself, did you ever have a loyalty to Rooster Teeth first?
Well, no, I didn't have a loyalty to Rooster Teeth. I support their work from what they do, but I don't support their practices on how they treat their workers. That's more the reason why I support, you know, you content creators. You know, I'm one of you now. I support the work that they do, but I don't support how they treat people. So that was my question for the chat. Am I betraying the very people that I sort of turn-wise work for with my channel? Am I betraying him? Or am I betraying them? But it seems like everyone's saying no.
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to answer.
It's been on the back of my mind because I know where I stand in the RWBY community. I support my content creators and I support the people making the content. But I don't have a loyalty for people who put people under hot water like this, ruining their credibility, making them just removing them from a story that all of us love. That hurt, you know, like, because now we have to get used to a whole new person, and, you know, God forbid if he loses his position. But I don't think this is right.
Okay, so we have Arbiter 117, thank you, says, at Memory, no, they betrayed you and their fans. I'm still gonna watch RWBY and Rivers Blue.
Okay, you know, just as long as if there's nothing wrong with having doubts. Like, we all got doubts. My whole thing was, in the future, as I'm making content, if I get like a message from someone from Rooster Teeth saying, we trusted you, we loved your content until you turned into this, then it's gonna throw me off. Because it's just like, yeah, I wasn't expecting this.
So, the thing is, with this whole question, yeah, it's interesting, because like I asked you, did you ever, like, have a specific loyalty to Rooster Teeth to begin with? Because if you didn't, you can't really, like, have betrayed them, right?
That I know of, no.
Just because you make content
based on
doesn't mean you are, like, owe an eternal allegiance to them. So I would say no, you haven't betrayed them. However, the reason why, because I know someone in chat said, let me see if I can find it still. They said something along the lines of, why is this a difficult question or something? I forget what they said exactly.
It was my question from earlier. Am I betraying Rooster Teeth? That was the question.
No, yeah, but someone in chat said about what I said. Like, why would it be difficult to answer? Because I said like something. It's kind of a complicated question or something. So the reason why you can make a counter argument is that if Rooster Teeth is letting you make an entire channel, build an entire channel on their intellectual property, and then you support a movement that could potentially make them go out of business, and everyone there loses their job.
Yeah.
Then someone could make an argument that, I mean, in a way, you're betraying them. But, like I said, I don't agree with that, because my main point is, just because you're making content on it doesn't necessarily mean that you owe them an allegiance. So I don't think that Memory has betrayed anybody, but I can definitely understand an argument that someone could bring up to try to say that in a way you have. That's the only thing I was saying, guys. I always try to look at the both sides of things.
I figure as my channel grows, or just me as a person, as I grow, when I start like siding with people, I need to know what I'm standing for. Like, you know where you'll stand with the movement, but you want to know what the long-term goal is for, like, what are you trying to succeed out of it? Like, I know what I'm trying to succeed out of this. I want Vic to either A, get his job back, or B, don't get the job back, but get a lot of money back from all the people that shat on him from this whole experience. That's what I want for him.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in to tonight's show. Hope you enjoyed this. Be sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not, notification bell, all that jazz. Memories link is in the description again. And yeah, thank you so much to the mods for holding the fort down. Thank you to the donators for sponsoring tonight's show. Much appreciated. Yeah, Memory, go do your outro.
Everyone, thanks for being a part of the show. Have a nice day and see you later.
And that's the story. The RWBY fandom isn't just divided. Most of us are at odds with each other. This fandom already suffers from agreeing to disagree, but this Vic situation started by the voice actresses from Funimation spreading Mars Girl's tweet is what gave birth to KickVic, as well as this conspiracy war over a jelly bean. These online debates without a doubt fuel the fire of this problem, but we didn't start the fire, neither have the united power from both sides to put it out. Supporting KickVic encourages real victims to be ignored in society and to destroy each other without proof while living with a mob mentality. I don't live that way, and don't let things such as friendships or privilege guarantee my loyalty or harm my better judgment. You either live just or live a lie. Life's too short to waste time pretending. I love my community and upload videos to support my content creators and entertain my followers. That hasn't and will never change. With that said, that's the conclusion of the video. Hero Hei, always a pleasure to collab with you. KickVic, you had your chance to talk, but when part 3 of my last discussion of this comes out,